So the military, they actually have a recording because it's a crime, but they, criminals, they try to the law says when a criminal, I made a recording about it before, it says when a criminal tries to present a mechanical creation in comparisons to a person's court or an actual like build like a hotel or a house or whatnot, that the military owns whatever it is. Patent, it, by law, has no authority over it, and it goes solely to the like military base, then to patent, to be patented under military ownership. So they've actually, because criminals, they've tried going to court explaining taxes, and they tried explaining how in 100 pennies we separate 5 pennies, and 199, 98, 97, 96, 95, 95 pennies is yours. That's the same with the word, the spoken discussion of English. You know, we separate 5 and 95 is yours. And they actually know how to build a house that way. In some military bases, they have they got, I guess they showed it on TV once for me, at the beginning of Soup, because the law is non-arguable. That means that's what they're going to do, you know, because there's no argument in the whole case. So you start at the front door, and there's red line, blue line, and by taxes and they like explain to the person they're walking through the home, this is your home, you know, and then they explain, because, you know, we've conned you, you can't use the blue line no more. And then he's like, you know, where are you going to use the bathroom? You know, you got a 4-bedroom home with 3 baths, and he conned you out of all the baths. Where are you going to use the bathroom? You're going to shit in your bedroom. You know, you're smart. You know, why not just fucking walk to the fucking bathroom and take a shit and tell the judge, fuck you? And, they physically got this house. They showed it on TV for me. And they do like ops. They have fake houses that they shoot up and blow up and all types of stuff. But, yeah, so it's pretty horrible. So that's what they try doing, you know, and because I've murdered, I've robbed 5 from you, when you bring your 100% argument, though your 100% argument is 100% argument, I've stole 5, I've committed a crime. I'll just say you're guilty, or you have to word it the way I word it, and whatnot. And they actually start their, with evidence and proof, in an evidence and proof court hearing, they actually start their case dramas out by telling the judge that this is a crime. You know this is a crime. I know this is a crime. We together know it's a crime. That would be one of our confessions, or whatnot, or something, and or omissions or something. And so basically, that's what they're trying to do. That's what they did to the military. The cop declared war. He tried doing the holding 5%. They went off to war. They got caught. The military starts their case out like that. So, you know, Your Honor, we believe this is happening, and, you know, the knack of goodness. And so they went off and killed, and the cop called an illegal war. They went off to war, and when they got caught, because they went to court and said, hey, Your Honor, we believe that, you know, the criminal's doing this, they tried passing it off to a race. They took 95 north. Yeah. And so now, with the race over years and practice on the argument, they believe that, you know, their crime of what they stole is sound. And so they actually arrested a bunch of cops for designing them, 2,500 military officers died. No hope at all. That's what the military said. No hope at all. Sent them over there. There was no hope at all for them. All of them died. 2,500.
In 1 mile, take exit 1 DC on the right to I-495 north, and then keep right onto I-495 north.
Yeah, so it's pretty horrible. So now they're, we hate you because, they lost that war. If you would have just not disputed us, I didn't dispute you to begin with. The military did. The military disputed the war to begin with. Yeah. So it's pretty horrible. Yeah, and it was dumb. They talked about person's invasion, sharing people's organs, and
take exit 1 DC on the right to I-495 north.
And so they all died.
Keep right.
Yeah, they actually called a black person. They called the cop in, asked him his theory, and his theory turned out to be bogus. And so they called. They actually, so say the court hearing's 5 days. At day 1, they introduced him possible savior of the country. We're not sure though. And day 2, they was like, you know what, this doesn't sound right. What all people were you working with? Maybe it was one of the, because it was something to do around you, by you, near you. We found you, and that's where it led, and we know we didn't follow bogus shit. And so who all were you dealing with? And he was like, all these black people, we deem this black person to be the head black person. And then day 1, 2, 3. Day 3, they start mapping out the people. Day 4, they get into the how did you, if it was in the 15 cases later, if it was murder, just say it was murder. We'll cover you, we'll stand behind you. Literally, and some officers actually just stood behind the plaintiff. It was like, and if it was murder, then just say it was murder. How'd you design this murder? How'd you design the absence of the murder, the protection of the murder? Maybe you don't understand absence in the discussion. How'd you save this guy's life and prevent him from dying and whatnot? And the cop was like, fucking, I had them all executed, At day 5, he said, I had them all killed because they all died. I saved them all. National television. I was like, fuck, this guy's genius. So they went through. So they went through a bunch of cops. They all gave the same explanation. Then they started calling black people in the community. And the black people said, fuck that, I withheld his being, or whatever it was. I committed a crime. The cop aided within the unseen to the being by his being, and I fucking withheld his being at the times of murder, and that's how strong I am, Injustice, they were saying. It's the implementation of injustice or something. So we came out with video games, the Injustice League. Because they all died. They're military, because there's a bond hearing. The military held a bond hearing, and the military had to take from the treasurer, had to request it in perfect platoon triple talk or something, and they were all dead, so they couldn't request nothing. Yeah. So I'd be telling him, I'm the owner. Like, I own this shit. Take your time. When you get to me, make sure it's right. I want my money. So it's pretty horrible. And that's what the non-justifiable says, to tell them, taunt them, inform them that you own it. They'll ask questions. So it's pretty horrible.